Live from the Spill Studios, located behind a liquor store off the I-35 interchange, it's time once again for a couple of cold ones with Corey and Carlisle.
We,
as the French we, or you and the mouse in your pocket?
no, that would be wee. No, we is yes. Let's do it.
That is not a mouse.
That's King Kong down there. How's it going, man?
Much worse now that you've got me thinking about your penis. I was doing all right there until I was thinking about King Dong.
I never said the word penis in there anywhere. You that was already on your mind.
Yes, that is exactly what that was.
I was speaking lovely French to you, and you happened to just bring it down to my genitalia, man. You always got to go there with that. Why do you do that?
I don't always have to go there. You want me to go there. That's what you keep asking me. You're like, Carlisle, please.
We. So, anyway, man, how's it going? How was your weekend?
It's pretty good. It was a nice, quiet weekend that ended doing taxes.
Oh, shit, that's right. It's about that time, huh?
It is that time, my friend. It is tax season.
Am I too late to file?
No, you've got till Thursday.
I got till Thursday. Okay. Whew. I guess I don't want to be, me and Wesley Snipes sharing a jail cell together. You understand what I'm saying?
If you haven't done it yet, you need to spend a little time doing that because, man, as being freelancers or self-employed, as the government likes to think of us, we get extra screwed.
Yeah, I actually have done my taxes, and I'm not gonna say how much I owe, but even when I think I'm ahead, when I write off a lot of stuff that is tax exempt. I mean, I write off tons of stuff like trips that count as business. I write off CDs, well, not CDs, but DVDs or Blu-rays. I write off a lot of stuff, certain meals that will actually bring up business. And even after all that, I'm like, what the fuck am I working for? I mean, I still walk away from Uncle Sam with my ass hurting.
Yeah, we have that special, that FICA thing everybody pays? Well, you get to pay it double because you don't have an employer paying half of it for you.
Yeah, man, I gotta start doing this stuff quarterly. I mean, that's just how it is. I mean, they keep my tax guy keeps telling me every year, you know what? If you just filed every 3 months, you would come out way much better than you are right now. Your ass might itch a little bit, but it won't be sore and bleeding like it is when you walk away from doing your tax time every year.
When you write that big honking check that just clears out the bank account.
I know. Fortunately, I save every year with an emergency fund. We talked about this other night. You and I kind of have the same thing. There's an emergency fund put away for just these kind of things, whether it be for home repair or taxes. And taxes, I mean, shit, I could build a whole other fucking house without as much taxes as I'm paying. And you know what? I wouldn't even get to live there. Uncle Sam would move in. I'd be outside begging to come in. They'd be like, nah, keep your ass out there a little bit longer. But
tonight was write-off night where we actually went through all of the receipts and the credit card statements and pulled out all of the write-offs. So that was that fun night.
Oh, that's a job in itself, man. I got to get one of those I'm not tax, but one of those receipt scanners where you scanning your receipt and it actually stores it away digitally for you so that you can avoid clutter. I have Ziploc bags now, and I mean those things are monsters, man. They're almost like trash bags full of stuff now. It's crazy how you have to do this stuff with taxes when you don't. People, you think you have a hard time paying your taxes when they pull it out at work for you? You look at your check and you're like, whoa, I never noticed this, but that's a lot. No, be thankful that they do, because chances are you're going to get a tax refund. If you happen to work for yourself, or if you have to go under the title of, as Carlisle said here, under a freelancer or
self-employed,
yeah, then it never surprises you. And tell you what, the more you make, the more you get screwed. I can understand now why rich people are complaining about this shit. Not that I'm rich by any means, but
God, no.
No. But I've been lucky for the past few years to save and pick up some work here and there, and it's you get a sense of pride about yourself. You're like, I'm a self-made man, and somebody's like, yeah, but you still Uncle Sam's bitch at the end of the day. You might as well be locked in a jail cell with that hoe. It is really. I mean, I'm baffled. But hey, you know what? Got to do it. It's either that or you can go to jail and get raped for real by somebody. So what are you gonna do?
Can I choose not get raped?
Yeah, you can pay
for the
your
choices?
taxes. Yeah, that's the extra choice
Yeah.
right there.
Well, you have 4 more days to file, my man.
Oh, I've already filed. Like I said, I already know how much I owe. That's why I'm going on like this. When I already got back how much I owe. My tax guy told me. He's like, "Hey, you know what? You did pretty well." I was like, "Really? Well, how much I owe?" And he's like, "Oh, you owe this much." I'm like, that's doing fucking well. That's well. And he's like, "Well, considering that it would have been this much." And I was like, "Holy Jesus, man." Oh well. I guess keep saving my receipts because if not for those receipts, I'd probably be out on the street somewhere pushing a shopping cart, talking to myself.
Oh, I hear that. That was tonight. In going through and going, wow, I really get to write a whole hell of a lot off this year.
Makes you wonder, like, how much did they take away from Warren Buffett or Bill Gates? You know,
Oh no, they take a. Well, it all depends because there's a lot of those guys who end up not paying anything.
well, yeah,
Because the way they have creative write-offs and where they funnel their money and a lot of these guys are worth billions and billions of dollars, but they're worth it on paper. Like they don't have it in their pocket. It's not like they go to their bank account. It's like, oh, I have $100 billion in the bank. It's like, no, you've got a couple hundred million in the bank. You have billions just kind of sitting in other places that can evaporate at any moment.
So you mean like Bill Gates saying at the drive-thru at Jack in the Box in the middle of the night, just trying to get a jumbo jack, and he has $1 million bill? Like, hey, Jack, can I get change real quick?
When he's hungry, he sends out and buys the Jack in the Box.
Jack
He's
brings
like,
this
I'm
shit
really
to
hungry.
him.
Will somebody buy me a Jack in the Box? What do you want? I want the Jack in the Box. Get me a Jack in the Box at 3 a.m.
Yeah, he's
I'm
like
Bill fucking Gates.
and I want Jack to bring it. I want that fucking clown head to bring me my hamburger. I want the Jack that I see in the commercial to bring that shit over here. Yeah, man. I understand what you're saying. Of course, you know when you hear about them having billions, I mean it isn't like exactly a billion dollars that they get written checks for every year. You're right. There's so much you can have that you actually have in your account, and there's so much that you have that you're worth, and that worth includes not only you but your business and all your assets on the side. Not all of it's monetary. Some of it's in value. So, anyway, you know, I'm tired of talking about rich people because it's making me feel even more broke and sorry ass than I am. Let's talk about some good things, man. Let's
Like
talk about
how much money rich people made this weekend off of movies.
exactly. At least I don't have to work. Like, at least I get some entertainment from that. You know, they make them richer, but I'm sitting down watching some good movies and some bad ones, and we have a little bit of both this week in the top 5.
The top 5 brought to you by Spill.
Refreshing Spill. Try it on ice. It's so good. Now, at number 5, go ahead.
The number 5 film.
You kind of sound like Cyrus right there. He gets that. He always gets that. What's that
The
guy's?
number 5 film.
No. He loves to do. What's the guy's? You know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. You love that artist. He was Renfield in Dracula.
Oh, you mean Tom Waits?
Tom Waits. He always gets that Tom Waits
Waits.
going. Yeah. The number 5 film. So let's see here. The number 5 film is The Last Song. Still hanging in there. Okay, now, everybody jumped my ass about giving this movie a rental, which I still don't give a shit about.
Why did they jump your ass for giving it a rental?
Because
it had Miley Cyrus in it?
Yeah, because everybody wanted to see us tear the film apart, and I was like, I've seen worse. Yeah, it's not a great movie.
It's a Nicholas Sparks movie. What do you expect?
Yeah.
They are what they are, and some of them are good, but very rarely are they total crap.
Well, this one's not good.
Or not.
This one's closer to being crap, but it wasn't total crap. It wasn't that terrible. I mean, I saw it. I was like, you know what? Close to being a waste of my time, but not bad. Not bad at all. I mean, bad, but not terrible. And a lot of other people thought so too. Brought in $10 million this weekend. So far, it has earned $42.4 million, and it costs $20 million to make. So regardless of whether you think it's a rental, full price, better than sex, or fuck you, some more bullshit, they don't give a fuck because the movie made money. So.
Well, but it also does go to show that Miley Cyrus has hit that down point. Her career has peaked, and it's all the downhill slide as her fans get older. She did not break box office records by putting out a film.
No, and she's in that transitional period right now where she's trying to figure out what's the next step. Ever since she had to take that blonde wig off, and she knew that Hannah Montana was coming to an end, Now the time to decide. Okay, I can't do Hannah Montana forever. I can't keep riding this Disney crowd. Where's my career going to go? And this was that one film that was trying to get her a different image. Not a total bomb, so it's not a big disaster for her, but she's not getting the kind of praise, it's not getting the box office as she would if it was a Hannah Montana movie. So who knows where her career is going to go? She's not the strongest actress right now. She only has one little bit of range, and that is being Miley Cyrus.
Not the strongest actress.
You
Can we
be a
little
nice,
more honest than that, Corey?
All right, she's not a good actress at all. I mean, she can only do one thing, and that is play that fucking Miley Cyrus role. And so, I'm not gonna criticize the girl. We'll see what happens, but you got to do more than that if you're gonna make it out there. It's a cold world, baby, and people don't want to see you play that Hannah Montana shit forever.
Hey, she had a longer career than her father did. That's all that matters.
Oh, achy breaky heart, man. I'm still jamming to that every night. Come on, don't talk about that man like that. And I'm not. I hate that fucking song, actually.
Yeah, see how quickly you wanted to kill that joke because you didn't want anyone thinking for a second that you might like Achy Breaky Heart. That's what happened to his career.
I remember not only did I hate that song, I hated people who loved that song at that time because it was the most annoying thing to hear being sung by anybody.
The only thing more out of date than that song and his career is his hairstyle.
And we gotta give the man credit.
Remember the mullet?
Of course. I mean, I think that was part of the reason why I hated that song because every time I thought about that song, I thought about him and that stupid fucking haircut. And
he didn't just have a mullet; he had a power mullet.
That shit was like, when most people have a mullet down to kind of like their shoulders at least, he had one almost down to his ass. He's the kind of guy you like. If you rode him on his back like a horse, you use his fucking mullet as reins. So yeah, it was ridiculous. But hey,
all right, now you've crossed into a realm that I don't want to think about.
Come on, man.
You're thinking about riding fucking Billy Ray Cyrus and using his hair for reins, dude. Come on. Come on. It doesn't get much gayer than that without involving Elton John.
Get my achy breaky something else. All right, man. Let's go to number 4.
Oh, number 4. Yeah.
All right, a little more manly, but not much. It's Tyler Perry with his movie Why Did I Get Married 2? And that is, the whole clever thing of saying the sequel as in number 2, but spelling it as T-O-O. Oh, that Tyler Perry, you're so crazy.
I thought this is called, I don't care what it's fucking called, the black people are going to come and pay to see it again, too.
And that is exactly what it did. It brought in $11 million this weekend. It was going neck and neck for the last 2 days with Miley Cyrus in the last song, but it came out on top, $1 million more, and so far that movie has grossed $48.5 million, and the budget for that was the same as the last song, which is $20 million. So both those movies doing well, riding still on name, and good for them. More money for them and less money for us. But anyway, we said everything we could about Tyler Perry. What can we say now? The guy prints his own money whenever he puts out a movie. They should be making money for black people with Tyler Perry's face on it instead of George Washington at this point. So, you want to go number 3?
The number 3 film.
Draw it out. Yeah. I can feel it. Ooh, shit. Yeah, boy.
That's not my singing. That's Achy Breaky Heart.
Oh man, don't remind me. Let's get off this achy breaky shit and move to something.
You brought it up.
And move to something more uplifting and happy.
That song will haunt my dreams tonight. You can tell my heart, my achy breaky heart. I just don't think you'd understand. You're welcome, everybody.
Jesus, man. You're gonna have nightmares. Thank you. I was doing fine until you actually had to remind me of the fucking lyrics. Let me see.
Don't tell my heart, my achy.
I'm not listening.
Oh, yes, you are. Your heart is listening, and that's all that matters.
Let me think of some good things here. Good thoughts, like How to Train
Your
Dragon, the number 3 film. Yes, in that movie right there has been doing pretty well. It grossed $25.4 million this weekend, and it has brought its total up to 133.9. The movie cost 165 to make, so hey, you know what? As far as the numbers go with the box office, it stands to at least break even. It's been out for 3 weeks, so doing pretty well. Good for DreamWorks. They're finally making some good CG animated films.
Yep. Well, I mean, they've always made them on and off. And you say finally, and I would counter with Kung Fu Panda
Well, and also Shrek. I mean, Shrek is in there too. I love
and
Shrek.
Shrek, and I love Over the Hedge.
Oh yeah, I remember. I loved Over the Hedge too. I mean, we all walked out of that like, wow, that's a surprise. I love
Yeah,
that movie, man.
they've made some good stuff. They've made some crap, and we're buckling down and preparing for the good possibility for a big stinking shit sandwich next month.
Which is going to be what?
Shrek the Fourth or Shrek. What's it called? Shrek Ever After?
Shrek, yeah, some shit. Shrek, same old bullshit, I think is what it's called.
Same old bull. Second verse, same as the first.
Yeah. You know, I guess the reason why I'm saying that they're finally making some good films is because not that these films were bad before, and a lot of them I love. I love Shrek and Shrek 2. Loved Over the Hedge, as we said. Kung Fu Panda was great. But, you know, they're beginning to get out of that phase, I think, of doing too many pop culture jokes. You know, maybe they'll put some references in there to like modern times, but not so much towards entertainment. You know, maybe they'll do it with attitude or how people behave. I mean, there's nothing in there that is making fun of like American Idol and How to Train Your Dragon, anything like that. So that's why I think I've enjoyed the direction that they're starting to take.
No, they just have Scottish accents that onset at puberty.
You know, one thing at a time. You know, let's not rush too much. You know, they're getting out of one phase and entering another. They'll get accents in the next film. But let's go to number 2.
The number 2 film.
Breaking it down, boy. Look, you put a little soul behind that. Got
breaking
soul,
something.
Soul coming at your ass. So let's see. We got a Clash of the Titans, the 2010 version, and that brought in $26.9 million this weekend, bringing its total up to $110.5 million, and that cost $125 million to make. So doing pretty well too. Been out for 2 weeks, doing good business. What do you think, sir?
It had a 56% drop off, which I was hoping it would have more because I'm really disappointed in what they did with this thing. But it's doing well. It's got people going to see it at least. I'm so angry at the 3D work they did on this and rushing that out to get the numbers up and get up excitement. One of my friends tweeted something they heard the other day at the Alamo Drafthouse, which just made his soul cry, which was somebody saying, "Yeah, I missed out on Avatar, so I'm gonna go check out Clash of the Titans because 3D's 3D, right?"
Well, go see the movie and judge for yourself. And you know what? He'll probably won't even notice. He'll probably come out and be like, yeah, it was cool. I mean, if you really don't care, that's the thing. There's some people out there, they don't have the eye for it. I mean, and I'm not saying that those people are bad. I'm not trying to say that, oh, well, us critics are much more discriminated than they are. No, I think the average crowd out there, to them, yeah, 3D is probably just 3D. And they're looking past it. So if you're that type of person, I mean, maybe this is great for you. But it's just, you're right. Rushing this thing out and putting it in 3D in post, if you do have the eye for it, it doesn't serve the film well.
Yeah, there have been articles all week from people on 3D forums and people who work in 3D production houses about how this is the worst thing that could have happened to 3D at this point in time because.
Hello? Oh my God, Carla! See, I told him not to sing that song. I told him not to sing Achy Break a Heart, and they got him. Somebody came in and got him. Hello?
Somebody had come in and got me, right? That was where you were going with that?
But they apparently let you go and let you free to come in and record another day. Yeah, what happened?
They let me go. They really let me go.
See. Somebody, snatch his ass back up, take him out of here. What happened?
I don't know. We got disconnected.
Yeah, I know it's not me because my mama got fresh new internet.
Because your shit is clean. That's
exactly.
why.
I mean, the whole house got fresh new internet smell to it. It's so cool and clean and fast. I mean,
you got new internet? What'd you get?
Well, I got my mother to get new internet. I'm in Waco right now.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know you were in Waco.
Yeah. I told my mom I'd come visit a lot more if she got the internet. I thought I was just kind of bluffing, and she got it. And so, like, I come home now, and she's got it fast and running, and I can come here now and record just like we're recording back in good old Austin, Texas. Except I'm in shitty old Waco, Texas. Actually, Waco's kind of cool. Yeah, you know what? They got
liar.
No, man. Hey, you know what? If you want to go out and drinking and partying and go nuts, probably not the best place to do it. But hey, they have all the accoutrements of Austin now. They have a Jamba Juice. I rolled through, got my pomegranate pick-me-up with free energy boost and mangoes instead of strawberries, and it was, hey, you know what? Waco has entered the future now. They are here. Waco has arrived.
Really, that's the mark of where Waco has arrived. Is they finally got a Jamba Juice.
They do. That's
So
for me.
Now Waco is the Texas equivalent of every mall in the country.
Of course. But it's a good mall now, not that shitty parking lot mall it used to be. It's actually a mall, a fully equipped indoors, walking around, nice mall. That's how I compare Waco to how it is today. So yeah, it's all right, not bad at all. And I come here and work. I have a whole lot of shit to do to prepare for this festival, and I just had to get away for a little bit and just stay focused. So I escaped to Waco because believe me, it ain't shit to do but get a Jamba Juice and come back home and work. So anyway, where were we?
We were about to get to the number one film.
All right. And that would be, bring us in, man. Come on. Number one is Date Night.
The number one film.
Date Night with Steve Carell and Tina Fey. And this was a movie where the trailer looked terrible, but you guys saw it and you said it wasn't that bad. And apparently a lot of other people didn't think so either. It brought in $27.1 million on its opening weekend. The budget for that is 55, so it stands to do okay. It might make a drastic fall off next week, which it probably will, thanks to some big movies coming out, or at least some movies that have the same kind of appeal, if not more than this. But
let's see what happens. The top two films, Date Night and Clash of the Titans, are about $225,000 away from one another.
Yeah.
So if Titans actually did better than people thought, because let's face it, it was bringing in families on Sunday, and Date Night was a bit overreported, it's entirely possible that Date Night may have actually been the number two film this week, and you'll see trailers calling it, rather than the number one film in the country,
yes.
the number one comedy in the country.
I love that. I mean, we were talking about this the other day. They would like How to Train Your Dragon. They were like, it is the number one dragon movie of all time. I was like, Jesus, they're really splitting hairs here now. They're splitting hairs.
Yeah, well, it is the thing is it's like that's not really a deep pool you guys are swimming in there.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
It's only a few, and people did not dig them.
Any way they can twist it into saying it's the number one blankety blank, that's what they will do, and that's what they're going to do. You're right with Date Night. So I have a question to you about 3D. I was listening to an argument going on in a podcast not too long ago, and people were pondering the future of 3D, wondering what the technology was going to do. Is it going to stall out because it's just a gimmick right now? Or is it going to actually be the technology where a lot of people are going to invest in it, and this new technology is going to go now into a direction where it will be more part of our entertainment? Not only a part of our entertainment, but a part of our lives as we are preparing now to have 3D televisions in our homes. What do you think about that?
I don't know.
All right, then. Well, that's a good discussion, people. Good night. Thank you for listening to a couple of quotes. We'll talk to you next week.
You just gave so much setup. There was nothing else you could really say. I don't know.
Good night, everybody.
No, actually, the truth is I have to give a much more abbreviated form of this conversation. I've been giving this conversation for years. 3D, it's really weird. It's at a very tenuous point. We have to see what happens. There's a couple more films coming out this year that are going to be 3D, and we need to see how people react to it. We're getting 3D in the home, but as people have said, there's not really a true killer, as what people call a killer app for it, a killer application, except sports. And sports seems to be where 3D is a definite, because 3D sports just look really cool.
Yeah.
Have you watched football in 3D?
No, I have not.
It's pretty badass, especially if you're a football fan. So sports may drive it, but the real question is, like, people are getting 3D TVs and they've got the new 3D setup, like, hey, the new 3D starter kit for home. And, you know, the one movie it comes with is Monsters vs. Aliens, because that's like the one thing available for it. And is this going to be, you know, the new big thing, or is this going to be that fad that's cool for a year and a half and then everybody ends up with equipment they can never use again because there's nothing for it? And nobody knows. Will people pay the exorbitant fee to keep seeing 3D movies, or will they eventually get tired of it and say, "Fuck it, we'll save the $20 for the whole family and go see it in 2D instead."
Yeah.
So nobody really knows right now. We are sitting on the precipice of what could either be the next fundamental wave in how movies are made, or it could just be a fad like it was in the 80s and be gone again. I don't think it's definitive either way. It all depends on how the audience reacts and embraces it after about a dozen films. Because after a while, like I'm sick of CG 3D movies. Like How to Train Your Dragon. I was like, I would have preferred watching this in 2D, because why do I need to wear glasses and watch this movie in 3D when it's just a CG film and it's not putting me in an environment? It's just throwing shit at me, and it's not throwing shit at me in a way that I particularly want to see that. So I know kids dig it, but will they keep making them if they find that people start seeing them in 2D instead of 3 to save the money? Because there is a big disparity now. It costs a lot more to see a 3D film than it does to see a 2D film.
Yeah. I thought about this after this discussion that I heard, and I am not going to dismiss 3D as a fad, because it is definitely different than the 3D that we had. The days of getting 3D glasses and with prizes like Cracker Jack boxes or cereal boxes, or when they did gimmicks with the Super Bowl where you had basically what I'm referring to is even as recently as 2 years ago, or maybe was it last year, they did the Super Bowl in 3D. I think it was 2 years ago they did the Super Bowl in 3D. You had to watch certain commercials. That, and prior to that, it's always been, as far as home 3D or certain 3D at the movies, except for like the past, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. It's been the red and blue plastic lenses, and that has been 3D for a long time. Now that we have companies like Panasonic, Sony, Samsung, Real 3D, not the company Real 3D. I mean, all these people are putting money into a different kind of technology now. We're now getting into like the LCD glasses and the polarized glasses, and those are, and while no one wants to wear those glasses, they're miles of light years away from the 3Ds that we were used to before. Again, the red and blue lenses, and it's also beginning to 3D is beginning to enter different platforms. Not only are people going to be able to witness 3D in a better format for bigger films, but they're going to see better 3D. But it's also will become part of it now. We'll become active participants in 3D with video games as people take video games 3D. Now, right now, is the technology perfect? Not by a long shot. And do people continue to want to wear those glasses? No, because that's going to be the biggest hurdle they'll have to get over, is wearing the 3D glasses. But they already have examples, and it's only peaked it right now, of being able to see 3D without the glasses. And they're going to get there one day. I mean, it might take years to get there. It might be as much as 5 years. But they're going to get to that point where they're going to get rid of those glasses. And right now what we're seeing are stepping stones. We're not going to see a fad so much as we're going to see like stages that come and go. My suggestion to people, don't be so quick to rush out and buy those 3D televisions, because I think that those are going to be like real fleeting stages that we're going to see. Wait for it to get to a point where it's a little more mainstream, where people are buying into it more, and technology's better. Of course, you got your first wave of adopters. They're going to buy it, and you know what? They got the money to do it, so let them be the guinea pigs. That's fine. But not only are we having video games, but they're going to soon introduce 3D cameras that we will use, 3D consumer cameras, where we will shoot in 3D and be able to watch our home movies in 3D. Again, a technology that I don't know if it's going to take on or not, because you still have to wear glasses, but who knows? So
but let me just throw this at you and convince you to go out and buy a 3D camera right away.
What's
you
that?
Ready? 3D homemade porn.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Because that's the first thing you thought of too, wasn't it?
Well, I thought
it's like, oh, hey, look, it's little Timmy and he's in 3D. No, fuck that. We're gonna get the girls. We're gonna shoot a movie. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Right into the fucking camera. It'll be awesome.
I thought about that, and you know, I don't know if I want to watch my homemade 3D porn movies. I'm a little more careful than that. I mean, I want to get tired of wearing those glasses. I'm not going to be able to concentrate when I'm touching myself watching those movies. You know, it's more of a bother than it should be. And
Really?
plus, yeah, and plus, let me think about it. It's bad enough that we're getting the clarity now of all the blemishes, like the pimples on people's asses. We're getting that real clear with HD. Now it's going to be like in our faces in 3D too. I don't want to get that close. I don't want it. I reject that technology in that aspect.
I don't know about that. I think I'm down with that.
You know,
I think HD was the worst thing that could have ever happened to porn. I mean, that's.
and now you want some of that nastiness to be in 3D for you too.
Well, I mean, they've compensated. It's kind of like, okay, we can't have the pimply asses in porn anymore because film won't compensate for that. People can see it in HD, and it's kind of like, no, why did you? Oh, she's all bruised. Oh.
Yeah, instead of trying to pleasure myself watching a 3D porn movie, I'm gonna be sitting up there like in the air, like with motion in my hands, trying to pop a pimple on some chick's ass. You know, like with my fingers trying to press a pimple. I'm like, you know what? This is too distracting. I'm gonna go back and pull up my old 80s, 70s porn collection and get nostalgic and whack off to that. But yeah, you know, hey, look, you know what? Don't even give me the line, man. That sounds exciting to me. I'd love to play around with it if nothing else. I ain't gonna even fucking lie. I'm gonna be trying to act all high and mighty. Hell yeah.
No, everybody knows better than that. They know that's the first application you thought of and the first application you want to see.
Hell yeah. The only thing that porn hasn't like become the first testing ground and major multi-million-dollar maker of is video games. Because you know, I don't know why, but. And I guess until the day they come up with that device, we can stick your penis in it, like, you know, like the controller, the Rumble controller that you can stick your penis in.
They've got those in Japan.
I'm going to Japan. I'm booking my ticket next week.
They have those. They're truly disturbed over there.
The future is here and is in Japan. Damn it, I'm gone, man. I gotta stop this podcast now. I'm like you. You're just not gonna hear me anymore. You're gonna hear it. And silence. I'm just out the door. No, of course they got that in Japan. They got everything in fucking Japan. I think they got a real Godzilla over there. We just don't want to talk about it. So anyway, yeah, 3D, man. I don't think it's going to be a fad at all. Not the direction it is right now. Well, I'm excited to see where it goes, but the technology that we have today is going to keep it around just a little bit longer than a fleeting fad. So other than that, man, was there anything else on your mind, sir?
Well, are we going to start that new podcast this week?
I was thinking let's start it next week. Because what I want to do is I want to make sure that, I haven't told anybody in the office yet, which I know nobody's going to care. I don't even know why I'm asking. You know, it's going to be fine. I just want to give people a heads up. That's all. It's not going to be that big a deal. And I want to prepare a nice graphic image for that. Unfortunately, this week I'm preparing images for a lot of pictures that we have to do for some ad sales, and I also have to do graphic images for the festival. So I'm swamped, and
you're really grossing me out by calling them graphic.
Well, that's
I'm just trying to think, what the fuck are you drawing, man? I'm gonna do some graphic images for the festival.
Oh,
what
yeah.
festivals is he talking about? The Spill Party?
Yes. Yeah, the Spill Festival. Yeah, I got to draw images for that, and I also have to, like I said, have to prepare presentations for some of the ad stuff that we're trying to get over. We got a big one. I've already discussed this with you. I'm not going to say anything about it to all the other people out there, but we got some big things going on with studios, and we picked up one, on the verge of picking up another, and we're promised a third, and these are going to be pretty cool. This is a good testing ground and customizable ad spots. And I'm excited to see where that's going to go. So I have to, and this all makes sense later on down the line. But yeah, it's a lot of shit to do this week, and I want to make sure I don't want to just pull up some crappy image for this new podcast that we do. I want to look cool. But I'll tell people what it is. I'll tell you what.
Because I wanted to bring it up because we need a name. And I thought this would be the perfect chance to let all the brainiacs out there in Spillland try to think up something. Because you and I have kicked around a name up for this podcast for a while, and nothing's ever like resonated.
Yeah, I was just gonna call it what it is, which is very basic. This week's DVDs. But you know what? I'm jumping ahead here. Why don't you tell people what this new podcast that you and I are going to do is all about?
Well, you and I are going to do a new podcast that'll be on Tuesday mornings, which will be a follow-up to a Coco, which will be entirely about this week's DVDs. It'll be a shorter podcast. It's going to be like around a half an hour.
So don't even start complaining. We told you ahead of time.
Yeah, it's a shorter one. We're going to be recording it along with the Coco so that it's ready for Tuesday morning. We're going to be essentially talking about all the films that have DVDs coming out on Tuesday, all the major stuff. Whatever stuff they sent us, we'll talk about and be able to review and talk about the DVD features. But it also gives us a chance to talk about those films that maybe, sometimes you wanted to know what we thought about a certain film and we weren't in on the review, or we didn't have a chance to see it at the time, or it's a direct-to-video movie. And this gives us the chance to finally, talk about that and talk about the movies that come out that day. So if you hear us talk about something and you want to see it, you can go out to the store and buy it that day.
That day.
So it's something to do with DVDs. Come up with a title. Leave it in the in this
podcast.
Yes. Well, I'm trying to think of we don't call. I'm used to calling them talkbacks, but they're not talkbacks. In the comment section of this particular podcast, and me and Corey will sift through there and find one we like, and me and Corey will talk about it, and then Corey will tell me which one we're naming it, regardless of what I think about it. And
no, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and let you. I'm gonna go and let you pick out that name because really, Oh, I know, man. But really, I'm being serious. I'm letting you know that I'm probably gonna let you pick out that name because this is going to be you mostly talking about the DVDs and Blu-rays that we're watching because you're going to be watching these. I myself don't have time to watch any more than what we're watching right now, and I'm not going to even pretend like I do. So I'm just going to say I'm going to be, your comment guy. And if I have something to say, I'll say it. I'll add, hopefully a little bit of funniness to it, and just if I've seen something.
A lot of these are going to be films that you've seen, so we'll be able to just recap the films or talk about them, and it won't be like the top 5 where after about 5 weeks it's like, shit, do we really need to talk about The Blind Side again?
Well, you know what? Are you going to be covering what I think is important too, but not to like a long extent, the special features and other things that come with
when there are interesting special features, when it's stuff they've sent to me and it's like, oh, hey, check this out. But like last week, The Lord of the Rings came out. They put out the theatrical cuts on DVD on Blu-ray, and they sent that to me, and it was a really cool box set. Except all the special features were just the special features from the old theatrical cut sets, like from back in 2002, 2003.
Yeah,
really, I'm not going to talk about that because it's like, dude, you've fucking seen those. If you have those DVDs, you've seen them. If you haven't seen them, then you don't care about those special features. So
there you go.
So there you go. But yeah. It's just gonna run through it. I was sifting through it tonight. I did some research just in case. I'm really kind of disappointed that we're not talking about it because I found something that was just magnificent in the things. And sometimes those things will present themselves.
Well, I'll tell you what, my man. Why don't you give people a taste, just a little sample of what this new podcast could be all about?
Well, this week on DVD is Straight Boys, Gay Boys 3: Going Undercover.
You're kidding.
I'm actually not. I found that on the new release list. And I was like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. So I had to click on it, and it has the single greatest write-up I've ever seen on Amazon.
Okay.
Like its product description, it will melt your brain.
Wow. All right. And is there anything special on there? Any special features that we need to know about?
I have no idea, but there's let me find my favorite line from here. The softcore erotic session that follows is one of the most riveting Toby has ever filmed. It includes a hammock milking session, camping in a tent, and much more.
Whoa, boy. Looking forward to this new podcast.
That's one line from a paragraph of a block of text describing this film. This is not typically what we're going to do, but God, I was so looking forward to springing this on you. But no, interestingly enough, this weekend, I wish they'd sent it out to us. This Tuesday, Defendor comes out.
Yeah.
And that was a film that was supposed to be released here late last year, got pushed back till February, and then Sony decided to dump it and not release it. And the studio or the production company that made it self-distributed it in 4 theaters, made like $50,000 total, made just nothing off of this film. And now it comes out on DVD on Tuesday. And this is a film with like major stars in it. It's Woody Harrelson playing a guy who wants to be a superhero. Kat Dennings in it. It got really positive reviews from the festivals it played around. But for
Kat Dennings, is she the girl that's going to be in Thor?
oh, I don't know if she's. I wouldn't be surprised. She's the one from Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. That
Oh,
she's the pixie girl that everyone's in love with.
yeah, that chick, yeah, okay. I thought, never mind, I might be thinking of another chick then. I thought that was the chick that was going to be in Thor. Anyway, so the movie, yeah, I've seen. Now that's cool. I've never heard of this film before.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this for a while. The trailer was out. We had some stuff on Spill about it, and then it just got dumped.
Actually, that is the girl that's going to be in Thor. I don't know what role she's playing, but damn, okay, that chick, yeah, she's actually a pretty talented girl, man, pretty smart.
Oh yeah, and really fucking hot.
Yeah, and let's not forget that. Last but not least, really fucking hot. So, now what's the name of this movie again? Defender. Defendor. Yeah, I remember hearing a little bit about this film, but it never got a wide release, if it even got released at all.
Yeah, no, it didn't. That's what I was saying. It got 4 theaters here in the States because the production company wanted it to play in theaters, but it never. It opened in Canada and in a couple other countries, but the States it got overlooked. They felt we weren't going to dig it, so they're just putting it on DVD, and it comes out on Tuesday. So I know I'm going to check it out on Tuesday. I've been looking forward to it. I love Woody Harrelson, so.
Yeah, no, I enjoy Woody Harrelson very much too. I love that he can be both a great comedic actor and he can play very, very serious too. I really loved him in The Messenger last year. So, yeah, I see. Now that's pretty cool. Now, if we were doing this as a regular podcast, I'd probably ask you more things, probably go into more depth about it. But as you can see, you learned a little something there about a movie that was hardly ever seen by anybody. But guess what? My man Carlisle here saw it and told you a little something and recommended it to you. So I think this is going to be not only an entertaining podcast, but it's also going to be very informative. So I'm looking forward to doing it.
I'm looking forward to doing it too. It gives me an excuse to double check everything that's coming out on Tuesday. I'm sure my wife's going to be upset because she'll be, why are you buying all sorts of Blu-rays all of a sudden? It's research for work, honey.
And a good tax write-off, and God knows we need it, God damn it.
And you know what? We can write that off on taxes, which is why I love my job.
Yes, you can. A lot of shit you can write off on taxes when you're in a creative field. But anyway, man, you wanna get into some mail and tweets?
Yeah, let's get into some mail and tweets. We got a few minutes left.
All right, then go ahead.
Well, let's see here. JR Arts asks, what are your thoughts on the Toxic Avenger remake?
Oh, okay. Well, why don't you go ahead? Are you a big Toxic Avengers fan, by the way?
You know, I am and I'm not. The Toxic Avenger was the first unrated film I ever watched. I saw it when I was about 11 years old, and it melted my brain. It was not what I expected. I picked it up in the video store. It was back when video stores were still just small run things that didn't have many videos on the shelf. A video store had a couple hundred videos in it, and it was just the local video store on my base, on the Air Force base that I lived on, and I go in and I pick up this box, and it's like the first superhero from New Jersey, and I'm like, oh, holy crap, this looks awesome. Oh, it's about a guy who falls in toxic waste and he kicks ass. Oh, awesome. And I take it up to the counter, and the woman turns it over to make sure it's not rated R, and she goes, oh, not rated, that means you can rent it. And thinking, nobody knew what not rated meant at the time. So here I take the unrated version of this movie home, pop it in the VHS player while nobody's home, and end up seeing just TNA, and a guy gets run over and his head smashed, and they shoot a dog, and just all this just absurd craziness. And I was like, what the fuck is this movie? And it broke me. I was just like, here I am, 11 years old, watching just crazy insane shit and had no idea how to process it, and it fucked me for life. But watching it years later, dude, I love these things. They're so much fun. They're goofy, they're over the top, and they know what they are. And I actually really adore Toxic Avenger 4, Citizen Toxie.
Yeah, I enjoy those movies too, and those movies have a certain campiness about them that only Troma films could do because, hey, look, they were cheap, and they just had the sense of humor about it because they knew that they were cheap. They didn't have the budget to do anything cool, so they said, hey, let's make fun of the fact that we're doing this movie with very limited resources, and let's just punch up the humor of it. And it's going to be hard to see it done in the same vein as those movies are that we know them know them today if they're given a bigger budget and given a bigger Hollywood treatment. I'm not one to go in and prejudge something. If they can do it and they think they have a good reason for doing it, then that's fine. But I can't blame people for being nervous when they hear about them remaking this, because now it doesn't seem like people are remaking things because they are inspired to remake them because they need to be remade or rebooted. It's just that people are like, oh, what's available now? Let's snatch that property up and remake it because we don't have anything else to do, or we don't want to take chances with new stuff. And that seems like the case of something here.
Well, there's some other things to it. The big thing that a lot of people are freaking out about is that they're making it PG-13.
Well, definitely that's not the true spirit of the Toxic Avenger. Even though they did do a Toxic Avenger cartoon.
That's been my reaction to this, is people are like, how dare they? These are rated R and unrated movies. How dare they do this? It's like, do you not remember the Toxic Crusaders?
Yeah.
Because it's not only a cartoon, it was a video game for the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yes, it was. And it was
a toy line.
It had toys, and it was had a big environmental message behind it too, and I thought those were kind of cool. I know that there was a trend of doing that, and a lot of people like, that was a cartoon. It's like, man, they made RoboCop into a cartoon. They made what else was it? They did the Crypt Keeper, Tales from the Crypt. They did a cartoon version for Saturday morning of that. Yep. So it's not anything new that they're doing that with, but at the same time, it's like, well, that was a short-lived cartoon, a short-lived toy line, and it wasn't really that successful because people, well, look, they know the Toxic Avenger as being this really violent, comically violent, gory, campy film, and I think that that's what people want to see, and they're going to be really taking away. Hey, look, in a PG-13 movie, it's not animated; it's going to be live action. So, right. That's not. I don't think that's a good idea.
Well, you know what? I'm there with you, except there's one other thing that I have to take into account here.
Yes.
Lloyd Kaufman is going to make money off of this. That if they're making this, Lloyd is going to get some money. And if there's anybody in the industry that deserves to make some fucking money, it's Lloyd Kaufman. That guy has pumped every bit of blood and money that he's got into Troma Films. It is kept together with shoestring and duct tape, and he sunk so much money into his last film, Poultrygeist.
Poultrygeist, yeah.
Which I mean,
isn't that the one that bankrupted Troma? Didn't Troma go bankrupt?
I may have, and it may have been the one that bankrupted it because I mean, it's fucking awful. I mean, there's Troma Films, and then there's Lloyd himself gave me a copy of the disc. He's like, I'd love you to write it up, and I'm like, oh, thanks, man. I can't wait to go home and watch this. I bring it home, and I'm like, look what Lloyd Kaufman gave me. We have to watch his new film, and we go and pop it in. And about 7 minutes into the film, my wife was just like, yeah, there's a guy fucking a chicken. I'm going into the other room, and you tell me when you're done watching this. And it had so offended her.
Sounds good to me. I'm sold.
I got about 50 minutes in before I couldn't take it anymore, and I was just like, man, this is probably the most painful Troma film ever made. It was so hard to watch because Lloyd was trying to top himself. He's like, I've done all this. What more can I do? And he got to such an offensive level that it was stomach turning.
Yeah, I think they went bankrupt, and I know Lloyd Kaufman, that was his thing for a while. I mean, he's the guy that kept that afloat. And I don't know if it was a case of money mismanagement or what.
Well, he spent a lot of money on that film because his big thing was he wanted to shoot it on film. He does not like the new video era. He believed that, independent film meant you shot on film, and he shot it on film, and he spent $2 million making that movie, and nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted to distribute it because they took a look at it and they said, we can't sell this. We can't put it in theaters. It's not going to make that much money on DVD because Blockbuster and Hollywood and Netflix won't want to carry it.
You know what? Netflix is carrying it.
What? Poultrygeist?
Poultrygeist, yeah.
Oh, awesome. I'm glad somebody's – but a guy starts fucking a chicken which gets animated by the dead spirit of Native Americans and it bites his dick off. And just goes downhill from there.
I'm loving it already. I don't know what your problem is with this film.
Because it's not just the concept. It's you watching it. It's pretty stomach turning stuff, and it gets really downright vomit inducing. And it is not a film for everyone. I mean, it is the most over the top I have ever seen Troma go, and it was one of those things that me, somebody who's seen, the bulk of the catalog and appreciates how goofy and over the top it is, this went to all new levels, and I couldn't, I never finished it, so I couldn't write it up.
Well, you know what? You have my interest piqued, but you've seen the movie and I haven't, but you have sold me on it. I really want to see this now.
Well, check it out then, and let's see how far you get. And do me a solid and actually sit down and watch it rather than watching it while you're drawing, because you'll do that thing where you'll look up every 20, 30 seconds and go, oh, that's funny, rather than sitting there and staring at a guy getting his dick eaten off. And,
well, how can you turn away from that?
You know what? You may have problems with this film.
Uh-oh. Is there a fried chicken black joke in there or something?
Oh, well, there's lots of them, because it's a fried chicken joint that gets haunted and possessed, and fried chicken, people eat the fried chicken and horrible fucking things happen to them.
Okay, so where's the offensive part coming in?
Well, you'll see. I mean, you're already sold on it. Wait till you watch a fat man shit himself. And I don't mean shit himself. I mean shit his skinny self out into the crapper.
I've seen that in the trailer. Shit hits the wall and he just gets sucked in.
Oh, it's so foul. And I don't even mean that as a pun. It's just so unbelievably terrible. I'm being haunted by the 50 minutes of this film I've watched now. Scenes are coming back, and I'm like, no, I cannot unsee this.
I'm getting the same feeling that I'm getting when I first saw Meet the Feebles, and I went around and thought it was the greatest thing ever, and I showed it to
Meet the Feebles was the greatest thing ever.
And I showed it to all these people, though, and all these people would just walk away or say, I can't watch this, or
they always get to the scene with the fly
eating
the
toilet.
The shit. They'd be, it's like, come on, this is funny. And when the guy vomits up the fish and the fish is still talking,
have dissolved.
Can I
and
get the part?
I love that
movie.
Man.
Meet the Feebles.
I don't know. I'm getting the feeling
like average, ordinary people.
I think that the reason why I love Meet the Feebles so much is because the reaction it got. And look, I don't have time today to keep showing people movies and seeing how they're going to react like I used to. But I mean, that might be one of them. I don't know. You know what? You got me interested at least. I'm not saying I like the movie, but I'm curious, and I at least want to watch the 15 minutes or so that you watched. So we'll see what happens, man.
50. I got 50.
Oh, 50. Oh, you really put
in
me
a
to
2-hour
the
film. Yeah, I committed.
Right.
I committed, and I got to the point where I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
All right.
And my wife is like, so how was it? I'm like, I couldn't finish.
Well, you sent that trembling with sweats.
I felt like that guy who orders like the 72-ounce steak, and if you can eat it, you get it for free. Otherwise, it costs like $12,000.
Yeah.
You're sitting there in the last few bites, you're like, oh, fuck me. Please, for the love of God, let me finish.
Shit, for $12,000, I'll be eating and shitting at the same time. I'll swallow it one way or another. And
I've heard that before.
Hey ho!
Oh, hey ho!
So, hey, let's move on to let's do an email here. Let me see.
Well, before we hit the email,
yes, what?
This will be quick. I
Go
keep
ahead.
getting emails about this,
Yeah.
and I just got a tweet about it.
Go ahead.
Why can't us poor Canadians access Spill's podcasts on iTunes anymore?
Okay. It's not just you poor Canadians. Apparently, it's the whole world. And I called the New York office and let them know about this. And it just so happens that they posted up a blog on Friday. And it had been posted before, but for one day. And I was like, one day? I was like, really? Who's going to get some use out of this for one day?
I haven't even heard about it. I didn't see it. I missed it.
Yeah, no. And so they went ahead and put up the post again. And it works. It's a fix on how to go in and do the code, because for what I understand, it's not any coding that can be done on Spill's part. It's something that Apple has done. And for anybody who has tried to do a podcast through Apple or use iTunes to distribute your podcast, it's very hard to get a hold of anybody who can give you any technical help. And so we figured out a fix for it. The blog is there. Go in there and look at it. It'll go give you step by step on how to fix it. And I've been reading some of the comments, and people say it works. The biggest problem is that some of the podcasts are missing. So I don't know what to do about that yet. But from here on out, if you go in there and do what they say, apparently that will take care of you, and you'll be able to put your podcast back on your MP3 players and listen to it on iTunes.
Awesome. Okay, let's hit the email.
All right, let's see what we got here. I should have been looking for something. Let me see. All right, hey, here. This is a good one. This is a good one that will actually it will go very well with the podcast, with the email that you just read. and it's from Hand. And Hand says, "Hi guys."
Hi guys.
Hello. I was wondering
Hi, Hand.
if you guys ever saw the 1932 classic Freaks. Love that movie, and what your thoughts were on it. And also, now here's a part that really relates. Would you like to see a remake with an ending Ted Browning had planned to do? Ted Browning is the director of the movie, and
Todd Browning.
Sorry, they put Ted Browning here.
It's Todd.
And I do remember something about what the original ending for that movie was. There's a guy named Hercules, a strong man in the movie, and there was something real. I think they actually filmed it. I don't know if I don't think this is just something that was scripted. I think they actually had filmed an ending where the strong man in the movie. If you ever seen the movie Freaks, the Freaks turn on all the people that were cruel to them in this circus at the end of the film, and it's a very frightening scene because it's dark and it's raining, and they go after the strong man who was plotting with the beautiful woman to do something to poison one of the little freaks there who she thought had a lot of money. And so they get their revenge by mutilating some of the other people. And what they did to Hercules is they castrated him. And I think they didn't kill him, but I think they had him singing falsetto or something by the end of the film because he didn't have his nuts anymore. But that scene was cut. And if they want to remake the movie just so they can add something like that, first of all, I think I would like to see the original cut instead of seeing a remake. And Freaks, I don't know. I don't know if that's something that can have the same impact as it did back then, because today we would have to back then they used real freaks in the film. And that was what was so shocking about it. Today we try to up the ante by actually making freaks, I think, which won't be real. We'll make them up so they can seem more freakish or horrifying or more mutant-like. And I don't. It's nothing like watching this movie and knowing that these are real people that they're using and how they're using them to make them. Even though the movie was for them, they still made them out to be somewhat monstrous. And I don't think that people get away with that today. So. Again, if they really found a way to make a remake that they were inspired by, hey, fine. I'm not going to say anything. Go for it. But if they just want to remake it, then no, I don't want to see a remake of that.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I love Todd Browning's Freaks. The thing is that you can't really remake it. If you do remake it, you have to. There are certain things that occur in that film that just don't exist anymore. That's one of the fascinating things about it. There are pinheads in this movie.
Yeah.
Pinheads. Now, people calling other people pinheads, that used to actually have meaning. And it was the name for something that would happen when there was an accident at birth. And it had something to do with the way the forceps worked and the way the baby would come out. But it would crush the head into a cone shape. And you'd end up having these people who had cone heads, like the cone heads from Saturday Night Live, and it would cause brain damage to them, so they were mentally handicapped. And there are several of these as characters in the movie, and it's one of those things that just cannot exist. And to do it would be almost to parody it, and you could not pull that off, so you'd have to cut that entirely. And it was just so fascinating to see several of these characters, like the Human Torso, and just all these people who had these abnormalities and treated as very real characters. I mean, you say they're monstrous, but really they were getting revenge on the normal people for how they were treated. Well, and it's very much an empowerment.
Well, what I meant by that, just so you know, I did say that they were on the side of the freaks, but at the end of the movie, they made them out to be sort of monsters because that they were meant to be scary as they were going after the people that had done them wrong. I mean,
and now here's something for your eye.
Yeah, yeah.
It's actually my favorite quote from that film. I quote that on a regular basis. But yeah, I dig the film. I know it should never be remade. It is one of those classics that just cannot be touched. It is in that sacred hall of you may never ever remake this because you have no right to.
Yeah, that's going to be a hard one to do, and I really don't think that that's one that they should mess with. Maybe they could kind of ride that theme and do something that's sort of like an homage to Freaks if they want to up the ante, but trying to remake that movie in the name of that director, his movie Freaks remade. Yeah, no, I don't think that's a good idea. I got one more here.
All right.
I don't know if this is going to be a good one because I haven't looked at it ahead of time. Like the last one, got lucky with that one, But I got lucky with that last one. I didn't know what that was ahead of time. So let's see what we got here. All right. Let's see. Okay, I think I read this one already to co-host, but I'll read it to you. There's a person who loved the 2009 Ninja Assassin, but they
Oh,
started
you're the
to,
guy.
yeah, that one guy. It's Eat Hardy. Not only good name, but good advice. He says I would love to see a sequel to the movie, but the movie only made $30 million and didn't get much critical praise. My question is, what are the rules for a movie to get a sequel? Wow, a lot of people asking questions about sequels. Love the site, good job. And well, you know what? I remember answering this question. I remember, so I'll let you answer then. Go ahead.
Oh well, there are no real rules. I mean, the question is will it make money? And Ninja Assassin 2 won't make money. It won't even make $30 million. It made $30 million. People going, oh hey, I don't trust the critics, so I'm going to go see it anyway. Oh shit, this is terrible. Because it's a fucking terrible movie. I mean, there's some neat scenes to it. That opening sequence is awesome, but by the end of the movie, the ninjas are treated as monsters and they're defeated by army guys with flashlights, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm glad you like it. I'm glad somebody enjoyed the film, but I really didn't. And the rules for sequels, will it make money? And it won't make money. They spent more money on that than they got back. And, I mean, it'll probably end up profiting overall with DVD and such, but not enough to where it would make money in the long run.
Yeah, and that's a studio rule, make money. I think that if you are taking it from a creative standpoint, don't do it because of money. I mean, that's why anybody's going to make a sequel, because yeah, they know that the second one's going to make money. That's the only way to really get it funded. But if you can avoid the studio kicking you in your ass and pushing you and shoving you and saying, hurry up, make the sequel, hurry up, I got to get that script next week because it's still fresh in their heads, then really take the time to make something that expands on the first film. Not just a retelling of the first film, not just same themes, not just same scenes. If you can, what can we do with these characters that we haven't seen from them before? What side of the personality have we not seen? What side of the monster can we see that shows what their life cycle is like, or what the development is like, or what mystery was left behind that we can learn now? What relationships can be stronger this time around? How can the enemy be a bigger threat, or what's the bigger threat to come along? I mean, it seems simple storytelling, but it's a lot harder than apparently what it is. A lot easier said than done. So yeah, that's what I look for in a sequel, because I see so many sequels. We have yet to see that trilogy. We have a lot of trilogies, but it's very rare that we see that third film in the series. People get lucky and make a good second film. We rarely see that third film where that third film completes a really great series of films. And why? Because people just run out of steam after a while, and they don't know what else to do. They never had a story to begin with. Yep. And I hope that's going to be the case with Batman when they make that third film, because Christopher Nolan's going to be there. That's another thing. They keep the same directors, and they can keep some of the same actors who made it what it is. If you can stay consistent, you're already ahead of the game. But I'm looking for that to probably be one of the big ones that joins the does that very rare thing of having a complete good trilogy, and I'm looking for Toy Story to do it too. So we'll see. Anyway, man, I think that's it for me. You want to get on out of here?
I'm done, so let's do it.
All right. Hey, my man said we're done. Then we're done. We got no more to say. Good night.
Good night, everybody.